Get everything sort of lined up here a little bit. There we go. And get connected to the chat, as I always seem to have to do right about here. Give everybody a couple minutes to come in. And I believe this is the one where I need to be. If anybody's on already, if you could just hit the like button so I know you're there. Oh, there we go. And we got some people coming in. Thank you very much for that. Here in just a second, I'll see who that is. Be able to. It's my we're having some rain here, so it's got my interwebs running a little slow today, kind of like me. Greg Hart, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Jay Justice, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Tom's Food Factory, all right. I'm not sure if Lee and Rusty had if Smoking Bears had a live last night. I tuned in, but I never saw anything. I didn't know. I don't know if they made it or if they did or they didn't. But hopefully, I checked on for a little while, but after that, I kind of just didn't. Kind of had to tap on that. Pasta, yeah, we were going to do. One thing I noticed, and it kind of, I don't know if you guys were watching, I'm sure a lot of you guys are watching, yeah, Val, good to see you, but it is also raining. It's just been kind of a miserable day. It's been kind of a miserable day. I was glad to get out for a little while today and hit the antique store. Rusty, what's up? Oh, okay. Well, good to see you here tonight, Rusty. I tried a couple times. But, so, you know, there's always next week, and you guys, and Rusty and Smoking Bears does a little family home cook on Sunday mornings, and I'm getting everything ready right now, getting gloved up. I gotta see what we're doing. I think my water's just about ready, but yeah, I think we can give everybody a couple minutes here to get started. Hope you guys got to check out some of the videos today from my little adventure at the Auglaize Antique Mall in Wapak, Ohio. That was a pretty good one. I was really surprised today that there wasn't a lot of stuff. That was the thing. There wasn't very much rare. There wasn't very much rare stuff, and a lot of times, yeah, Val, thank you. Yeah, please hit the like button and subscribe. Sarah, nice to see you. Found you finally, yeah. All right, that's awesome. Thank you for showing up. It's gonna be a pretty easy night. Like I was getting ready to say before I started saying hi to everybody is, hey Fuzz, good to see you. And anyway, Scotty, so many people, there's people coming in all the time. Great, that's awesome. Anyway, I always see it seems like when I watch videos and when I make videos and things like that, it seems like I'm always frying something, or I'm always doing something along those lines, or baking, but I never seem to do a salad or a side dish or any of those kind of things. And if you guys were watching last week, I said, I was kind of surprised. I was like, yeah, I never do a side dish when I was doing the coleslaw and that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to kind of do a couple favorites that I have of mine, and my daughter Ming, actually one of them, the first one, I'm trying to decide which I want to do first, if I'm going to do my tuna one or if I'm going to do the pasta salad one, so I'm not sure. So let's see, Kevin Mong, hey, good to see you, buddy. But yeah, the tacos were great. I'm telling you, if you guys get a chance to make that taco meat recipe from last weekend, and I think I did that one other time for something else, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but that taco meat recipe is fantastic. So anyway, I think I'm trying to let me see if my water is boiling. My water's starting to get there. that was what I wanted to pop in first, was to get that water going. Maybe I'll add a little salt to it and see if that helps. Sometimes with the salt though, it tends to bubble over, but we'll give it, I'll add just a pinch, just to kind of get that going. There's a little piece of paper. I can never get that paper off the top of there, no matter what I try. But anyway, the Beegs is sleeping. The Beegs has not been feeling too well the last couple days, and to make matters worse, it's been raining and everything else. I don't know if she'll make an appearance tonight. She's been doing a lot of sleeping. She's not feeling herself. It's been kind of, we've been stuck in the house, and so we can see the stovetop, if that's cool. I'll be right here and then we'll move it over. Is that gonna work for you? All right, cool. All right, so anyway, let me get started on this, because I really, we're gonna be using, I will swing over here real quick though. We're just gonna be using the Lodge 5.2 quart enamel Dutch oven. I won't need any other cast iron tonight. And so that's will be the start of the show. Nothing too fantastic, nothing fancy, just a user. All right, there we go. Yeah, we'll do it there. So anyway, what we're gonna do first, I think I'm gonna do Ming's pasta salad. And my daughter is pretty cool about, she's real young, but she makes recipes all the time and they come out really well. One day I'm gonna do her Alfredo casserole. That's a really good one. She just comes up with different stuff all the time, and she made pasta salad last year. Now she doesn't add cheese or olives, but she's not here tonight, so I'm adding cheese and olives to mine. But we're gonna start out, and if that's boiling, and it is, we got a little roll going. You got a roll going. I think that's enough for pasta. So put that over here. Set that over there. But we got our pasta going, and I will get a wooden spoon to lay over top of that, just in case it does decide to boil over. But she uses, and I'm gonna go exactly by her recipe. We're gonna do, let's see, it's one of these, a 16-ounce box of, and she's specific, tri-colored pasta. And when I went to the grocery today, I was in Wapak, obviously, and Wapak is a really cool town, but their grocery stores are kind of basic, just to put it on the nicer side. They're just kind of basic. I have to go to other places, to get other things if I want something a little more exotic. And I was mostly out of pasta today. Enough, at least this kind. I didn't have this the tri-colored Rotini. That's what her recipe calls. Gas, good to see you. And so that's 16 of those. And what's the time on those? Look at that, 7 or 8 minutes. So we'll give that 8 minutes. We'll go 7 or 8. We'll go 8. We'll go 8 just to be all the way in there. Yeah, a few folks showing up. I saw. I didn't get a chance to look at the video too much. I did reply to some of that stuff, some of the comments about today's videos. But it was one of those things where I wanted to do one continuous video. I was going to do the one where I just said where I was at, and do a short, and then do the continuous video on the rest. And I went in there at 10 o'clock, right? 10:05 is when I rolled into this place, right? And William Hurd, hey buddy, good to see you. And so I get in there and there's nobody in there. There might have been like 2 people in there, like one person ahead of me in there today. Anyway, so by the time it was over, there was probably, by the whole time I was in there, I was about an hour and a half, kind of roaming around. And out of the 5 or 6 people that were in there, every time I turned around, somebody was coming up to me going, "Can you please not film me?" And I was like, And the one lady did it out of 5 or 6 people that were in there. She did. The one lady came up to me twice and asked me not to film her. And I said the second time, I said, well, it's kind of hard not to film you if you don't quit coming up to the camera. It's kind of, I don't know why people are so weird about that, but, and come clear to the other side. Hey, JR of Chicago, good to see you, buddy. 41 Money. And, but yeah, they, it was kind of weird. And then I was down in the bottom part because there's 3 levels to that antique store. And I went on all 3 levels. And another guy came up to me, came into one of the rooms that I was in and asked me not to film him. And it was just the honest, it's, you know, it was just weird. I'm like, if you don't want to be filmed, then why are you coming in? And that building's not like it's not like a retail building. It was an old mercantile building. So but downstairs is like storage. So all the bedrooms are all the rooms are about the size of a bedroom. They're not big. And there's probably, I don't know, the back part, there's probably about 9 or 10 of the rooms in the back. So the one guy literally came up to me into one of the small rooms where I was looking at that wall of cast iron and asked me not to film it. I'm like, you know, I didn't want to get into the whole thing where I can film it, you know, if it's in public I can film it, but I didn't really, I don't know. It was fairly ridiculous at a certain point. But anyway, I'm going to block up some of this cheese that I've got off to the side. And I'm trying to see what all... My daughter writes like I do, which is like a Chinese doctor. So I'm just going to cube up about half of this block real fast and chunk this down so we can have that in there. That piece is for the beagle when she shows up. If she shows up, she can have a little couple. She can have a piece or 2. One's for me, one's for her. And like, I think that'll be about enough. I don't want to over cheese this. But yeah. So I was trying to do, like I said, a continuous video, and that just wasn't happening because I had to stop filming a couple times. And then the guy with the keys, because there's always a guy with the keys at the antique mall, he was kind of giving me the evil eye because I didn't ask permission. When I walked in though, usually like when you walk into that place, there's your checkout counter, and there wasn't anybody standing there. And then I passed the guy as he was going up there because I was going to ask him if I could film. But I didn't think I needed to really ask because I wasn't really doing a lot of stuff. And when I first walked in, like I said, there wasn't anybody in there but me. And I was on different levels where everybody I didn't think would be. So, I don't know. Either or. It is what it is. They were embarrassed at the ridiculous prices they were asking. You didn't want to be exposed. You know, that's one of the things I brought up a couple times on the video. Some of that stuff was really out of hand. And there was some stuff that I wanted to look at, but now that you mentioned it, don't film me either. I promise I won't. I won't film you, no matter what you say. No matter how much I want to, I promise I won't. But yeah, they just. But yeah, the prices were really pretty high, and I was surprised that I didn't find an Indian head or more of a selection. That one room that I went down into that had the Magnolite in it and the wall, that guy generally has quite a bit of cast iron, and he had not. I don't know, he wasn't really finding much. And then there were a couple of scattered ones, like when I found that Griswold, the slant logo number 9, which I thought was an 8 because I had my glasses on while I was in there, and I can't see real close. I'm making pasta, a couple different kinds of pasta salad, butt dreads. I like the handle, by the way. Yeah, that's what I'm just making a couple different kinds of pasta salad. And some summer salad and some side dishes, because normally people make nothing but main courses. So I decided I would do some sides, and that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, thanks. So, but yeah, the prices are pretty crazy. But I looked into one of those booths about a year or two. I've got a friend of mine. If you've ever heard me talking about how I first got into cast iron, one of the things I restored a big, like a boatload of cast iron for an antique dealer. Well, that's a friend of mine, and he has a booth there. I didn't show his booth. He didn't really have any cast iron in there this time, but that's his booth as well. And there just wasn't a lot of pickings in there. I've gotten a lot of cast iron out of there. I've gotten a favorite. The one from one of my earlier videos where I talk about getting a favorite for real cheap, and the guy wanted to argue with me about how that was a favorite, and I didn't know what I was talking about, but it was really a favorite Columbus Hollowware, one of the prison skillets. And I got for, instead of being a few $100, $300 or $400, I got it for 40 bucks. And, but that guy also told me I was the kind of guy that ruins cast iron collecting for the rest of the world. So he kind of got what he deserved as far as I'm concerned. But this part is just about ready, and then we'll throw this together. I'm going to run this under some cold water. I've got my vegetables for the other one over here. My vegetables here for these. And that's done, and then I'm going to grab another colander and drain that off. Oh, I should turn that thing off. All right. So, we got that out of the way. And we'll get a couple oven mitts. There you go. And let me drain this off. And then I'm going to run that under. Oh, I got to get my other colander down. We just got that one. And I get my other colander here at the sink and dump that one in. And I'm going to run that under cold water. And so I can kind of keep going with this and go right to the next one. Pasta smells good. Oh, glasses are fogged up. Okay. So anyway, put that over here to the side. And I think I'll stick this onto a trivet over here for just a second. There we go. Let that cool down a minute. And I'm going to run some cold water under that and start some cold water on that oil, or on these noodles, so I can work with that, so it doesn't melt everything as I put it in there. Sorry, I'm off the camera there for just a sec. And then once these cool down a second, I'm going to go ahead and start filling this other one up. I'll let those cool down, and then we'll get this one on, and we'll start the water for the next round. Let's see. It's beautiful weather. New flowers. Oh, you got some new flowers? Very cool. Very cool. That's always good. Get some new flowers. We've got stuff coming up. Nobody wants to be outside here to enjoy them. The tulips are coming up, and lilies and all those kind of things are coming. But you're in Arizona, 100 degrees, man, you can have that. They say that's a dry heat, right? I don't know. Dry heat or not, I think you can have 100 degrees. It's probably about, I'd say low 40s, maybe high 30s right now. But we had some snow flurries, like the kind of little ice balls, not sleet, but they're little like balls of, almost like hail, but they're real teeny tiny. And we had those on Tuesday. So, Bill Boing, I got some cheap zucchini and goat cheese. so made a thing of tomato sauce and noodles. Man, I bet that was good. Thanks for showing up. Good to see you. More the merrier, I always say. But let me see here. Move my oven mitts off to the side and get back to all this. I'm going to go ahead and put in the stuff for the next thing. We're going to go ahead and start mixing that up in this. I think I'm going to use this one. I'll use that one there. But we'll go ahead and I'll throw in my cheese. That part. And she doesn't put olives in hers, but I think she's making a grave mistake by not putting olives in there. Olives are optional. I just think in a pasta salad it's almost necessary. And then she's going with a little bit of vinegar. So let's grab our cups. And we'll go, let's see. So we've got vinegar coming on the way. Yeah, Fuzz, I saw the one comment you left about the prices, and I was trying to figure out which prices you didn't. I tried to give out as many as I could, but I can't. There was just some that just weren't, especially when I was into those what do you call them? The shelves, the cabinets, so you can't really see into those. You got to kind of ask the key guy to come over and get them. So first off, we're going to have a half cup of olive oil. Good olive oil. I'm not sure if I like this olive oil yet or not. I just tried it this last time I got olive oil. It's this one. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that. It's kind of sharp. It's kind of got a sharp taste. So we've got that. And we'll set that there. And then, see this frying pan, don't want to get it dirty. Gotta need, yeah, I hear you. That's the fun though, man. You got to get them dirty. Oh, that was for everybody else? Yeah, like I said, I thought I gave out quite a few prices. And the ones downstairs on that wall, they were all pretty much about $100. So there wasn't really a whole lot of doing that. And then we're gonna do a quarter cup of vinegar, which I'm just gonna use the same thing because I want to get as much of that olive oil out as I possibly could. And then Ming says to do two cloves of garlic, and I just have minced garlic, so I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of instant garlic, because I don't have any cloves of garlic, because I got this larger than needed thing of minced garlic, because I couldn't pass the deal up. And I've been regretting the fact that I have this enormous thing of garlic now that I have to use. But I use a lot of garlic, so it gets used. And she's a little measurer. She likes to measure when she does stuff, and I do too. But when it's 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, I'm just going to go about that much salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, which you can't have too much pepper, and I've said that a dozen times. So we're going to go, that looks like about half a teaspoon of pepper. The salt, let's see, she wants 1/2 teaspoon of fresh oregano, which in April, there is no such thing as fresh oregano, so we're going to do dried oregano. And 1/2 teaspoon of that, which is just about that much. 1/2 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. And the one thing we do have is 1/2 teaspoon of basil, which I'm just going to pull off of the window garden basil over here, and we'll just cut that up, and we'll just rough tear that in there. That'll be fine. And we'll just tear loose tear of the basil in there. And I'm tearing that up. If you flavor vegetable, it's actually better tasting. Flavor, well, what kind of flavor are you talking about, my friend? Let's see here. And that's a little bit of basil. That'll work. Toss that off to the side. Let me see. And then 3/4 a tablespoon of mustard. And I just happen to have some mustard powder right here. Because she says ground mustard, and that's exactly what I have is some ground mustard. There we go. And I actually will measure that out because mustard is one of those things that you can add too much of. So she's saying about a 3/4 of a teaspoon. And I don't know where my 1/4 teaspoon is this time. So we will do, I'd say that's about 3/4 teaspoon of ground mustard. And that's really, I think that's it. Except I added the cheese and I added the olives, chili and cloves. Maybe. Let's see. I have all of it there, but I think I'm just gonna follow it the way I'm making her recipe. So the only exotic spice I buy is onions. Now you don't want to get anything too hot, Fuzz. You don't want it to be too warm for you. Like you know. Fuzz, are you one of those guys that thinks carrots are spicy? Oh, that's funny. But anyway. Oh, I knocked my towel down. Okay, can we see that okay? Yeah. Whatever you like. Go nuts. Nuts? Oh, nuts. Yeah. You can do that. Let me see here. And we're just going to give this a nice stir. And start mixing that stuff in. I think this is going to turn out just fine. Just fine. It's got a nice, I'll do this left-handed. I'm pretty handy. Pretty handy with my left hand. Ask anybody. Or there's maybe a few people you could ask, I guess. Let's see, carrots are extremely spicy. How'd you know? I could just tell. I've got that magic sense. You seem like a spicy carrot kind of guy. Get that going. Here in a second, I'm going to throw the other pasta in there. Since we had, and the other thing is when we were making the coleslaw the other day, and I said I made my mom's recipe, which called for Miracle Whip. Well, this was the next one I'm making, which is tuna salad. But I'm not making a tuna salad that is like for sandwiches, but it's a pasta salad. I don't know if anybody, I've never seen it at the deli. I cheat, I use doctored Italian dressing for my pot. You know what, I was really surprised. Like, Val, that's one thing. I thought that there would be, I even checked in the refrigerator yesterday to make sure I had some kind of like that. I have some Greek Italian style feta cheese sort of dressing. And I thought that I was going to end up having to buy a Italian dressing at the store, but that's not what she uses. And to be honest, this is really good. I was really surprised when she made this last summer, started making this, or the summer before. I think it was last summer actually. And I was surprised how good it was. But she's a good cook. She wants to go to school to be a baker, and she's actually looking at a job till she goes to school, working at a bread baking company, like a place that makes their own bread and pastries and all that. She's actually applying for it Monday. So, but she already talked to him, so she's pretty into that. She's a really good baker. Let's see. What do you think? What do you guys think? They look okay? Where's the sour sauce? No. No on that. Are olives expensive there? No. Olives are not expensive here. The can of olives that I opened today were probably about $1.50. I don't know if you're in another country. I think you were. I think you were going by pounds. So that would be equivalent to what you would pay about $1.15 for. Yeah, about $1.15. What it would convert to in pounds. So there's that. Okay. So we've got our first one knocked out. And I'm gonna put that off to the side and see what's going on. But anyway, so there's that. I'm gonna put this away. Yeah, that was that simple. It was that easy. And like I said, it just seems like we all do on all the cast iron channels, we never do sides or salads or anything like that. And since I just happen to have this pasta over there boiling, then dear users, beginning May 1st, may change the fee will be required to keep your channel active. Live chats will be limited to 1 hour. I don't know if that's, I'll have to get it. I have not gotten an email. So we'll see how that, yeah. I don't know if that's real. We'll have to find out about that. I guess we'll all find out. I've never seen it on anybody else's, and I do believe in spam. I don't believe in conspiracy theory. I believe in all conspiracy theories, but I also believe in spam. So anyway, for my next trick, we're going to do a box of shells, just the regular old shell style stuff, and that's going to be 8 to 9 minutes in the back. Let me mix those together so they don't stick, which it might for a minute or two, and set my timer. But I'll put those are going in. Those are nice. Okay. So we've got our first one done. Timer. What did I say? 9 minutes? Yeah, we'll go 9 minutes on that. Okay. Yeah, that will suck. Especially if it's going to cost to be on YouTube. But I like I said, I've never seen that anywhere else, and I watch a lot of lives. So, and I haven't seen anybody else say it. So, you guys don't get too worried, because there is a thing called spam, and a lot of times those things on here, no matter, even if they show up on somebody's channel that you trust, that's what it could end up being. It could end up being some spam. So we will see. Yeah, let's just hope it's some misinformation. Probably a scam. Don't click the link. Yeah, Val, you're 100% right. Do not click the link, because it's probably something you shouldn't. But like I said, I don't know for sure, but we'll find out. Let me see here. Go to the next bowl, because I don't think my other bowl is going to be big enough, and I think that one's going to be too big. So yeah, let's get them. Yeah. Yeah, Fuzz, that's 100% right there, pal. 100%. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to break out the Miracle Whip again, everybody's favorite. And we're going to do, how do I want to do this? We're going to do, how am I going to do this? Let me see. And it's funny, because this is the one I make all the time, make this all the time. So we're going to start out with, yeah, just like the message that Facebook's going to say, yeah, that's just one of it, whatever. I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise for this one, I generally, to be honest, I generally end up with more in there than this. 2 dolloping tablespoons of that. And oh, I forgot. I got to cut up the vegetables. I skipped a part. Not a fan of pasta salad. First time I liked it, I was stupid intoxicated. Last time I liked it, I got seconds after I got sick. Been there, done that. Okay, so we're gonna start with, I always add at least one stalk of celery to this stuff. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna dice up a little bit of celery. And I like it to be pretty small. Boy, that water's hot. It's getting hot in here. And the funny thing is the dog was freezing, so I turned the heat on right before, and I turned it off before everybody got in here. And that was a big mistake, because now it's like burning hot, and I'm sitting here in a hoodie. That chopped up, but we're going to add this. We're going to add a little bit of green pepper, but this is something that I absolutely love this, and my mom's been making it since the 70s. I've always loved this pasta salad, and in the summertime when it's too hot to eat, it's too hot to cook, I've mixed this up for years, and unfortunately I'm the only one that likes it. Nobody else seems to like it, so if you guys don't, if it's not something you guys are into, I can understand, because nobody else likes it either. Let's see, I make flavored vinegar with the oregano French tarragon. Oh, that sounds good. It's been hot here most of the day. With 16. How was it with 16 watching? You know, it's funny when I do that, but if you come back after I've shut this off, it's 16 people that are logged into into the comment section, how mine's set up. And if you go back to this in an hour after I broadcast, there's probably going to be about at least 300 to 500 people that have actually been in here and watched something. And that's usually 1,000's a good night for me on a small channel like this, and 350 is somewhere between 350 and 600 is about an average night, I guess. So a little more. I get surprised sometimes at the numbers. I'm still trying to hit 500 on the subscribers though. I thought we had that last week, but I think somebody just I'm not sure. I can't remember who said it, but I think we just kind of got some stuff mixed up. And that happens. That's okay. We'll get there someday. We've got a lot of subscribers here this past couple weeks. And subscribers, like I said, I'm not really too worried about getting thousands and thousands of subscribers, but it's nice to get them to where I can put my links up to, the products. I think this bowl is going to be extremely big. We're not going to need all that. Let's see. It's the board. Yeah, it's definitely the board. I should quit covering it up. That'd be the best thing I could do, is stop covering it up. But then I'd have to stop doing onions. And I don't want to do that either. So we'll do some green onions in there. And I'm going to throw, with the green onions that I like just for the sort of the color of it, normally it's just about a half of an onion. And that's all I'm going to do about a quarter, because I'm adding the green onion, because that sounded good. And I thought it looked nice too in here. So we get those into this bowl. Get those into there. And then I'm going to do my green pepper. I've got another green pepper over here. I got a green pepper over here. I got about 2 minutes till the pasta's done. And I keep throwing that stuff into that. I don't want it to be in that. I want that to be in the composter area. Let's see. I'll just take that half, set that back over there. Put that in there. And then I don't compost this because it's got seeds in it. And I don't want, even though they're probably GMO and whatever, they probably won't grow anyway, but just in case they do, I'd rather them not be in my tomatoes and something else for me to gotta pick out of my pepper plant, or my hot peppers and different stuff. No, there's no vinegar in this. Not a smidge. We should do knives one on one. I sharpen my knives, and one of the things that I could probably show. Ooh, those kind of stuck. I guess I didn't stir them like I did the other ones. That was kind of a bad move. Bad move, Badger. But I use one of these. I hone my stuff, and then I've got a regular, like a little handy sharpener that you slide it through. But I use a hone to do my knives. And it took some practice, but I got that figured out, and they work. I really like that hone. That hone works really well. I'm pretty happy with that. I've only got about 20 seconds on the pasta noodles over here. So, Fatty Meats, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I do, I was not much of a knife sharpener before, but I got that Rodrigo hone, and I got it at a garage sale for like $1 or something, $1.50 like that, and they're really expensive. I was really surprised. That's one of those deals that I mean, they're like, you know, it's like when you see stuff on the internet, some stuff could be like $100, some stuff could be, you know, $15, but those seem to be around $50 hones. And they still, the last time when I looked it up a couple 3 years ago when I got those, when I got that hone, that company was still in business, and they've been in business forever. And but I looked up that particular model, and because the bottom was green and not red, the green one made it even more rare, which and they have different model numbers and whatnots, but I could go on about hones. I guess I could go on about hones as long as I, let's see, can you use bottom of the ceramic cup in a pinch as long as the ceramic is exposed? The ceramic, can use the bottom of the ceramic cup. I don't know what you mean. Sorry. I'm at a loss for that one. Can you use the bottom of the ceramic cup in a pinch as long as the ceramic is exposed? Yeah, I don't know. Ceramic cup. To sharpen the blade. Yeah, you can. I have this thing too, and that's ceramic, I believe, and I use that to sharpen in a pinch, like in between, like after I wash it and before I put it away. A lot of times I use one of these, and I kind of like that little deal. I do like that little thing. For whatever the $3 I blew on it, it actually comes in pretty well. Let's see here. And we'll do the same thing with these. We'll put this off to the side, and I'll drain these off. And I'll move that out of my way, and move this over to here, and put these into the colander and run a little hot water on them. And these did stick a little bit. But I didn't stir them, so I had that one coming. Yeah, I like that little thing, Handsome Stone. It works really, no, if I said mayo, I thought I said because we had it for the last week's thing, and my mom made this, we were going to do the Miracle Whip. I might have said something different. I can get pretty distracted doing these things. So, I could have said that. Let's see, I'm going to pour a little water in this, then where they're stuck, so I'm not. And I've been using this white one a lot because I want to do an enamel cleaning video just to kind of, I'm not much for proving my point, but on this one I'm going to do a short on how I clean my enamel and turn it back to brand new. Let's see, I never scraped the knives on the cutting board. I seldom have to sharpen my knives. Oh, you stroke? I've never, yeah, that's one thing I'd like to learn how to do is stroke knives. I do not know how to do that. And I've seen it, I mean, I've seen that in every cowboy movie that has a barber where they do that. But I've never done that, and I think it's cool. I mean, it looks fairly like the same as, about the same as doing the hone, but not, you know, about the same kind of angles and everything. But it looks cool. And I've just never had anybody, my dad always did them on a sharpening stone. He never did a leather strap. My grandpa was notorious for having, and I actually have the knife that he used to carry, a little pocket knife, and it was never sharp, and one of the blades broke, and my grandpa carried that thing for as long as I could remember, and probably most of his life. He probably got it when he was a kid, and he was notorious for never sharpening that thing. So then we'll let those cool down before we add the mayo and all that, and cut that little bit of non-necessary stuff out of there. But yeah, let's see how many people we got in here. Now Rusty's got me looking. At that. How many people are in there? Yeah, still about 20. We still got, it says we got 20 signed into the comments. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 20 folks to talk to on a Thursday night while I cook dinner. That's always cool. And that the tuna one is what I'll make. I didn't want to put up tuna salad as the thing on the post for what we're doing tonight, because I think everybody would have thought it was this tuna salad like you make for a sandwich. It takes about, it's really, I still put just about the same thing in my tuna salad. I put green peppers in my tuna salad. Some people think that's weird. I just like the roughage of it and all that. But yeah, so I didn't put tuna salad in there. Actually, I don't think I put anything in there, now that I think about it. I dice these pretty small. You can dice them big. It doesn't make any difference. If you're even down for this kind of thing. A lot of people don't think they'll like it, and then they have it, and they really like it. They're actually surprised that they like it. And I get surprised when people like it too. Because it's real simple, but like I said, my mom has been making this since as long as I can remember. Hey, it's my best pal Debbie. What's up, Debbie? Good to see you. Dump that in there, then we'll do our onion. And we'll add a couple other things. I'm gonna add our pepper into that. I could have done the onions first and then move the guard off the cutting board, keep it from stanking. I am making I made pasta salad first, and then I'm making a tuna salad now, like a pasta tuna salad. And I'll put about that much onion in there, because I've already got the green onion in there, but onion and fish seems to go together. Kind of like pickles and fish, they kind of go together too. Put that off to the side, put that over here. That's not going to hurt nothing. See if I can save that. I don't know if I can or not, or if I'm going to sit and pick at it, because that would look good in my compost pile too. I think that's going to look good in my compost. So we'll do a quick dice of these things. Dice these up real fast. There's a little piece of that hull. Don't want the hull in it. Put all that into there. Flip that bad boy over. I think I'm going to cut that side too, so I don't have to mess with that thing. We'll just tap that out. This will make it pretty small. This way we don't have to get out a food processor. Because for Dyson, my food, I haven't found a good attachment for that food processor, to be really, really honest. There's another piece of haul to get out of there. There we go. That kind of looks like enough onion to me. I think that's going to be about enough onion. If I need to add a little more onion, I'll add a little bit more onion. Larry Perkins, thanks for showing up, buddy. Good to see you. And then we'll throw the onion in. And I'll move that. And I'll move that guard off of there and set that off to the side into the sink. So I can throw that in there here in a little bit. Like I said on the other videos, I do not want to make this board any more oniony than it. I've gotten it down to I've gotten the onion smell and taste out, the onion flavor off of this thing, onion smell I should say, off of this board. But it was some real dirty work, I can tell you that. Let me run some more water over this pasta before I dump it in there. But I will let it drain and rinse this knife off. And set that over there. Because with the mayonnaise, if I do it this way, it'll melt the mayonnaise. If I do it when the pasta's warm, it will melt the mayonnaise off. So, and I don't want to do that. Let's see here. Get our board back on. That on. Here. Board wiped off. And put the bowl back up here. I would use a few. That's not in the recipe, Val. That's not how I've had it since I was 10 years old. As long as I can remember. Since your video earlier, I have a number 10 block Wapak with Erie Ghost Mark and a Ghost cereal. What your Wapak range? The block logo? The block logos are, shoot, I want to say, because I used to think up until here recently that they all kind of ran congruently, but they did not. And I think the block ones ran from 1912 to 26, or it's just the opposite. They ran from 06 to 12. It's somewhere in there. And I'll have to, actually, the next time I do a live Handsome Stone, I will check in my notes and check that out. Because I think it's the latter because of the serial numbers. So I've got this in here. Now I want to add, I'm going to add my pasta because I'm going to start putting the, Larry Perkins, I know it's one or the other. I used to think that up until here recently, I used to think that they all ran congruently, but they don't. And I was just looking at that the other day, and since I'm on here live and somebody asked me, I can't think. But yeah, I would say that's probably 100% because I know they didn't. I know they didn't go. They were actually a staggered sort of thing. And the Onettas, I used to think there for the longest time, until about last year, I thought that the Onettas had a longer run than they did, but they didn't. They didn't last. I think they ran for about 6 years, and I think that was about it. So I've got 2 cans of albacore tuna in here that I did not drain it because the pasta is still going to kind of soak that up a little bit as it sits. This is going to be one of those, just like about everything it seems I make, it's going to be better the next day. But, and like I said, I think I'm going to have to add, I always start out with about 2 tablespoons of Miracle Whip. And I used to make this, I normally make this with Miracle Whip, or Hellman's, but when I had that the revelation that my mom always used Miracle Whip to make everything. That's when I started using, that's when on like the last one and this one that I'm doing Miracle Whip. Because that is just not, that's not enough. Oh, and I almost forgot the celery seed. We got to do celery seed. And I just do enough to kind of cover the top. And I'll do this a couple times because celery seed makes this. Kind of like a lot of pasta sort of salads. There we go. And if you use the regular, this is albacore tuna. If you use the regular tuna, I would drain that one off. The albacore seems to be a little more chunky and without as much juice in it as say the other one. And it seems like anymore. I had a case of tuna for the winter. We got a case of tuna for the winter, and that was just your regular Star-Kissed. And I swear anymore, it's just mush. It's just whatever. It's like whatever they swept up off the floor. So I've been getting the albacore after that, so it's a little more, at least looks like tuna used to look. And I'm gonna do another 2 tablespoons of this, of the mayo, or the Miracle Whip. 2 heaping tablespoons. Because now that I think about it, usually I do a half a box of pasta when I make this. I did the full box this time. But that's just going to mean I just double up the mayonnaise. That's all. Ugh. I like the other where I can just spoon it out. Give that another minute to get down there. Okay. But anyway. So we'll get that in there and mix up some more of that celery seed. I know this doesn't look amazingly appetizing, but once it sits in the refrigerator, I'll eat it like this. I know this isn't for everybody, but I'll eat it like this. Generally, you want to chill it about an hour after you've made it, but I'm hardcore when it comes to. I love this. This is like one of my top 10s. That, you know, when they give you your last meal, what's your choice? This would probably be in it. Doesn't that sound sounds terrible as I mix it around? Okay. And I'll throw just a little bit more mayo in there, but not much, because once this cools off, it's going to be I have a lot lighter look. But I couldn't get the Miracle Whip out on the last one. And like Rick says, this is salad dressing. So as much as people don't like it, or they have brands they prefer, this is a salad dressing. And this is what, in the 70s, where I was at, where I grew up, man, those gals were rocking the Miracle Whip. There wasn't nothing that didn't have Miracle Whip on it. It's a wonder I didn't grow up having cereal with Miracle Whip on it. Okay, so that's a little too far over that way. Sorry about that. More beard cam than you need. Yeah, this is in water. I don't do the vegetable oil too much. That's not one of my big things. And then I'll do some pepper on there. And then we'll move these out of the way. And since nobody eats this from me, and I like the fresh cracked pepper on mine, you can use whatever pepper you have, white pepper. I kind of like I like white pepper a lot, but I like using pepper when you have to see it, when you want to see it more. There we go. And Viola, I think it's finished. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab something to drink I'm going to grab something from behind me to have a drink. Thank you very much, Debbie. It really is. If you've never had it, yeah, that's a good strategy, Handsome Stone. Yeah, if you've never had this, I'm telling you, I've converted people that don't like tuna. I've converted people that don't like green peppers. But I've done that with liver and onions too. Maybe one of these days we'll do another liver and onions video. I want to do chicken liver video, but my daughters they've like, Dad, whatever you do, don't do a liver video. Another one, which I don't think they know what they're talking about. I don't think they have any idea what they're even saying. Because liver is awesome. It even says so in the title of my video, so it has to be true. So we'll get a small plate down tonight for this. And we'll grab something to drink. Let's see. Sorry for the visual. Yeah, I'm gonna have nightmares about that tonight. But that should be about the same as any other night, so you're cool. Let's see. We've got something to drink, and we've got the summer berry back there, so that's pretty rad. And I'm gonna grab up a different spoon. Got more of a serving type spoon to spoon that out with. Get the old blue streak out, and we're gonna put up some of this pasta. This pasta is so good. And I think the reason that she doesn't do it works is because the oregano's in there, and the oregano's in there, the basil's in there, the pepper's in there, and olive oil. I think it's got a lot of what you and I, Val, would say is the way to cheat it out. And I'm with you. I would cheat out on that too. Because that was, like I said, that was the first thing. When I saw her recipe, when I went to go pull this recipe card out, I thought for sure I'd be heading to the store to get some pasta, to get some Italian dressing of some kind. And I was even going to hope that I could have enough to use up the feta dressing, Greek dressing that I had in there. Because to me, it's the same thing. Italian and feta is kind of the same deal. It's kind of the same dressing. Plop a little bit of that out there. But I had General Tso's chicken for lunch, so I think I've carved up about as much as I need to today, but I think I can make room for just a little bit more. That's kind of a lot. But we'll see how it is. I'll get let me get the top back on there. Nice thing is shouldn't have too much, but I'll get you a good look at, if you can see it real good. My little jelly bean came in already, but the black feral I'm feeding on the back deck stayed out. He snuck in on the rainy day before. Yeah, I got a little like cat house out by the wood line in case something wants to get in there. Generally, it's not cats that get in there. It's generally, I have a lot of like squirrels that get in there. Let's see, get that in there. But it looks pretty good, I think. I don't think it looks bad. And we'll give that a taste test. A day in court. Get myself a big fat spoon in my big fat mouth. Tuna, on the other hand, yeah, the tuna, man, is really, the tuna's not too bad. So we'll get a spoonful of this. That's good. But I think I'm with her on the fact that I don't think it needs the olives. But that is really good. So she was right about that. And it's not as like creamy or anything as like you get at the grocery store or something like that. It's really kind of simple tasting. It's a really simple tasting pasta salad. It probably could have used a little bit more oregano. And it also has to, Sorry to talk with my mouth full. But it also has to sit. So I'd say it's not bad. And now to taste, and get a drink. Let's see, I named him Sharpie. He gets on well with my kitty, so I feed him. I'm gonna leave him be. Yeah. We had a cat for a long time that was coming up, and he was never inside or nothing. He couldn't. We tried it in the garage when it got really cold the summer before this past, or the winter before this past winter, but he just could never do the garage. He was tearing up the doors and trying to get in the house, and he was pretty destructive. So that was the reason we got the cat house a couple years ago. And he just never came back one day though, so I don't know whatever happened to him. Let's see, can't go wrong with Colby Jack. You cannot go wrong with Colby Jack, J Justice, 100% on that one. And out of all the Colby Jack that I like the stuff from Walmart. And I'm going to go on record. I actually, if I don't need anything else from Walmart, which I don't, I kind of have like rules about Walmart of what I get there, what I don't. But their cheese, my kids love it. I grew up on it, or they grew up on it. I've loved it ever since. And but I love Walmart Colby Jack cheese, and I even have another thing of shredded in there for my tacos for the weekend. Yeah, that's all right. I think it could have used a little bit more Miracle Whip, but I can let this sit and see what it's like after it sits. Because like I said, this is a lot of these, like it seems like a lot of stuff that, you know, any of these summertime salads, they do need an overnight or a few hours. And, you know, they all need that kind of thing. They just need to marinate. But this is really good. And I probably, here in a minute, I'll add that other quarter of that onion because it needs a little more onion in it. It just looked like a lot, but, and I thought with the green onion it would make it a little more oniony, but it could use a little more onion. But yeah, I think I'm gonna add a little more Miracle Whip to that, and a little more onion, and I'd say that one's done. But for summertime, it's always nice to have something on the side. And like I said, I didn't want to fry something, deep fry something again, throw something other than broiler again. This seemed kind of nice to sort of break it up and do some summer sides, do some side dishes. And surprisingly enough, I mean, people like a little something on the side. Hello, Debbie's husband. Nice to see you. You know, there's a Dan that's in Mudbrooker's chat that's a moderator, I think. And that's a Dan. I don't know if that's the same Dan or not. I don't know. I haven't seen Pawpaw Dan in a long, as far as that handle in a long time. Heck, I've been more thirsty than anything today. But yeah, if you get a chance to make these, you can add as little or as much as you like. I kind of went a little light, and I think that, like I said, I'm going to add a little bit more mayo, a little bit more onion, and it'll be right where it needs to be. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's seen Pawpaw Dan. He was in there a lot, but he was having a lot of trouble with his eyes last time, if I remember right. Now maybe I do like it with the olives. Now I think I like it with the olives now. I also was chewing gum up until I ate that. I was chewing spearmint gum, so kind of like eating something after you brush your teeth. But yeah, I'd say that's not bad. But anyway, so we got done, and I honestly thought this would take longer to do, but it didn't. So yeah, that's not too bad. So anyway, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch any of the videos from today, yeah, White Mountain Girl did not make it tonight. My future ex-wife. I talked to her I talked to her, I chatted with her a little bit this morning at coffee time, but I have not seen her in the chat. But she's a busy gal. She is one of those. She's one of those folks that's going from sun up to sundown, 7 days a week. Yeah, the tried pasta. Yeah, it's all going to be a lot better tomorrow. 100%, it'll be a lot better tomorrow. I'm just. That's why I said I'm not really going to change it. And like I said, you know, when you with anything like a pasta salad or any kind of salad, it's better for them to set and then taste them. And if you got to add a little bit more, that's the time to do it. That always works for me. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it seems to, for my palate, that works. Good night, Mercy B. Are you taking off? I didn't see that. I just see people saying good night to you. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see you now. And thanks for being here. Thanks so much. Thanks for everybody hitting the like button and everybody like that. But yeah, we are. It's not. We will be. I'm not sure about a weekend show. You'll just have to keep. You guys will just have to keep your notifications on, your subscription on, hit the notification bell, and see what goes on, and look in the posts. Maybe Friday night, Saturday morning, because I've got a lot of stuff going on this week and next week, and I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to see if I can get to Cornbread Festival next I think that's the weekend of the 20th. I think that's Easter weekend. I'll have to double check on that, but I'm still trying to get to Cornbread Festival, but I'm having a lot of trouble finding anybody to watch the dog. So, and there's no kennels that are taking pets. And I think that's a lot of it is the holiday weekend. The holiday weekends, kids are off school, people are going out of town, and people have already reserved spots. So I think there's a lot of it. So hopefully I can get something, so I can get out of there so I can get down to Cornbread Festival. Because I'd like to see some of the folks that are in my chats and other chats, and hand out some cast iron cure. And there's a lot of cool stuff to do at Cornbread Festival. A lot of good food, a lot of good things to drink and eat and buy. A lot of good cast iron to get in the second section, so I do enjoy. And I wanted to get a walk. I wanted to get one of the cast iron walks down there. I can watch your Indian head for you. You'd have to come here and do it. If you come here, you can watch my Indian head. You can watch all my Indian heads. I've only got 2 left, and you can watch both of them. You can set them on the coffee table and look at them for. I'm only going to be gone 40. I only want to be gone 48 hours, which is about as long as I need to leave. That's as long as I like to leave my house anyway. But yeah, so hopefully I can get down there. And if you haven't, Cindy Presley, you're coming in at the end, unless you've been in for a while, just saying hi. But yeah, watching use, no. Those are the 2. I only have a couple of pans that I don't use. I would probably use the 7 to cook with. I probably would use it. But my Dutch oven, my Indian Head number 8 Dutch oven is flawless. And I would never, that one would be a hard one to, number one, I've never seen another one. The Indian Head Dutch oven. I've never seen another one. And I have seen other ones. I've seen 3 other ones of the Indian Head Dutch ovens. I've seen a 7, 8, and a 9, and they're all cracked. Every one I've ever seen was cracked. The only thing on them worth a damn was the lid. So they were all wall hangers, except for mine. Mine I could use it, but I don't want to. Yeah, the Indian Head. Everything else, I really don't. My A&A, my Aaron and Arnold pan, I don't think I would use that. I think I would even use my Columbus Hollowware favorite. I've got one of those left, and I would use that one. Because those are pretty stout pans. They're really they're really old, but those favorites are really solid pans. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. I'm glad everybody showed up. I'm glad everybody hit the like button. And I guess we'll see you either this weekend or next week, unless something happens. But yeah, the Indian Head, Greg Hart. If you go back through my the shorts, There's one, it shows the 7 that I have. And then if you go to the video called What's in a Name, one of my first videos, that has a picture of all of them. And it has, I think I had all my Indian heads at that time, except for the 3 that wasn't in there. And I just sold the 3 not too long ago, about a month and a half, 2 months ago. But yeah, if you check out those, Greg Hart, if you check out those videos, that short with the number 7, you can see it. And the other one is What's in the Name. That's one of my first videos. And those are all in there. I'm pretty positive all my Indian heads are in that video. So anyway, but anyhow, thanks everybody. Val, Handsome Stone, Jay Justice, Larry Perkins, Greg Hart, Debbie Radagast, William Hurt, and so many more. I do thanks. Rusty. Rusty's probably sleeping, but and some of the other folks that popped in, and all the other folks that aren't logged into the chat. Thanks so much for showing up. Fatty Meats, good night. Thank you again for showing up. You've been a regular here recently. That's really cool. Thanks. Buzz, green olives for you. Yeah, I like green olives. I just like them in certain places. I like them by themselves. I like them on pizza. But yeah, no problem, Debbie. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, it's Friday Night Eve. Everybody have a good one. And be careful this weekend and stay out of that bad weather. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.